Good morning, guys. So a lot of people ask me questions about our horse stalls. First of all, Classic Equine make all of my stalls, okay? I've built 2 barns with them now. They do a phenomenal product. They'll basically custom build anything you want in the design that you want, which I love. It's not prefab. They actually build you on site what they need. So this particular question is about what do I use for stall flooring, okay? In my barn, I have rubber mats underneath the shavings, okay? 1-inch thick rubber mats, anywhere from 5/8 to 1 inch, okay? I think these are 1-inch rubber mats, okay? The reason I like rubber, it's got a little bit of give to it, it's better on their joints, but yet it's tough enough that if they try to dig a hole or pour, they're not gonna get through a clay base or a screenings base. What is under the rubber mats is anywhere from 8 to 12 inches of compressed limestone. Now, different parts of the country, everybody calls this material something different. It's basically really finely chopped up, crushed up rock. So you can call it crushed limestone. In Texas, they call it chat. Other places of the country, they call it screenings. But it's really finely crushed up rocks with some powder mixed into it. So it basically compacts really well. So I put that underneath the rubber mat because even with shavings, there is going to be some pee that gets through the cracks of the rubber stall floor that will go down into the screenings, and the screenings allow it to dissipate really well, okay? The screenings works well because it's a really good, firm, level, hard base. I don't like using clay. Like we'll go to a lot of horse shows and they won't have rubber mats in the flooring of the stall. So you'll see over the years, horses dig big holes, or where they pee, if they pee in a particular spot, it'll get all muddy and washed out. So I don't want them on a clay or dirt base because very quickly that dirt base will get chewed up and it'll turn into a muddy mess even with shavings pretty quickly. But the secret to a limestone base or chat base is you've got to compact it in lifts. So you put 2 inches of this material down, water it, level it, and then whack-a-packer it. Whack-a-packer the hell out of it. Get one of those whack-a-packers from the rental place and pack the shit out of it for several hours. Then let it dry for 2 or 3 days, get nice and hard, put another 2 inches on it, wet it down, pack it again. So yeah, is this an inconvenience and a pain in the ass that you've got to do it every 2 or 3 days? And if you do it in 2-inch lifts, and really pack the hell out of it, by the time you get to 8 to 10 inches, I wouldn't do less than 8 inches. You don't really need to do much more than 10 inches really, but that'll be a real solid base. But if you do the mistake that a lot of people do is they just throw a bunch of screenings in a stall, 7 or 8 inches, level it out, water it, and pack it. They think it's packed. You can't, especially with a whack-a-packer, you're not going to get, a 10-ton roller in there. You can't get it packed hard enough when you're putting too much material in at one time. So do it in 2-inch lifts over like a couple of weeks, and you'll never have to redo it. Like these stalls now are 5 years old, this flooring. In 5 years, I've never once pulled up one rubber mat because the base got uneven or out of whack. So what I'm describing to you is a pain in the ass in the beginning. Yes, it takes a couple of weeks and 2-inch lifts to get all your stalls really good. But if you spend the time in the beginning, you'll have next to zero maintenance time later on. But if you hurry the beginning part of it, every year you'll have to put all those rubber mats up, you'll have to level the base, you'll have to repack it. And it's almost like, like when they repair a pothole on a road, eventually that pothole where they repaired it seems to get tore up again, doesn't it? It just seems to keep breaking right there. That's kind of like what horse stalls are like. Once you start getting an uneven base and they dig a hole there or create a soft spot where the horse pees in the same spot all the time, you can repack that, but it's almost like it always keeps coming back in that same area. 5 years I've had these stalls and not once have I pulled up a rubber mat to redo the base again. So the reason I like screenings, like you might say, well, couldn't I pack it with like regular dirt or clay? You could, but the problem is clay or regular dirt, when moisture gets on it, it'll expand. With the crushed limestone or the screenings, it won't expand and it doesn't get soft. So it's not like concrete. What I don't want the horses standing on is a concrete base. Okay, now, if you do have a concrete base and you put rubber mats on top, does that help soften the hardness of the concrete? Absolutely it does. But I don't like that. you know yourself, if you stand on your feet all day on concrete, especially if you're standing in the same spot, your joints start to ache after a day of standing on it. You put a rubber mat down, that'll improve it, but it's still on concrete. So, like now, obviously my saddling bays and the alleyway of my barn, that's all concrete. But the horses aren't living on it 24/7. So that's why I don't use clay or dirt as a base underneath my rubber mats, because it won't get hard enough, and when moisture is on it, it will soften and move, where the crushed limestone doesn't. So that's what I have underneath rubber mats, anywhere from 1/2 inch to 1 inch thick, no less than 1/2 inch, but preferably closer to 1 inch if possible. And really be particular about getting those rubber mats fitted to where they're really tightly fitted in there, okay? And I would also, in a perfect world, again, we don't live in one, summer is the best time to put in those mats, because the rubber will expand and shrink a little bit, you know, depending on the temperature, okay? So if you put them in during the hot times of the year, they'll already be expanded. If you put them in the wintertime and they're a little bit contracted, when they expand, they'll make a little bit more of a bubble, or they'll move around just a little bit, okay? But sometimes you can't help that. You got to build when you got to build. I hope this helped you guys.